This isn't Florida. This isn't a Miata. I totally forgot that Nate bought me this like old school Hankook pit jacket a long time ago, and I found it this morning and started wearing it, and I really like it. It's really cool. What is going on, guys, and welcome to the vlog. As you guys know, last week I was with Adam, Tommy, Rudnick, Jimmy, Randy, TJ, Dustin, pretty much every YouTuber throughout the entire US that I watch, and we were all at Adam LZ's open house, and that was a super awesome time. Adam, I know you're not watching this, but thank you very much for an awesome time. I had a lot of fun. I know we all had a lot of fun, and I look forward to the next one. As you guys know, since I'm a filmmaker, I spent most of my time there filming for Adam and for Tommy and Rudnick. So I didn't really get a lot of time to film anything for my personal channel. All of the videos that I made went on their channels, which is perfectly fine. I'm a filmmaker, that's what I do. But I'm glad to be home. I'm happy to be back, despite it being 30 degrees compared to Florida right now in December, which is like 70 degrees. It's perfect. Yesterday I posted on my Instagram and YouTube community page that I wanted to do a Q&A video since it is coming to the end of 2018 with Christmas coming and New Year's coming, and I wanted to explain a bunch of stuff because I have a lot of plans for 2019 and some things that I want to change up. And obviously the stuff that I plan on doing with my cars is changing a little bit, but it's all worth it. And a lot of you guys commented, so I got a lot of questions to go through, but I'm on my way to the shop right now. Haven't seen the Soarer in a few weeks, and I'm excited to see it again. And when we get there, I can dive into the Q&A, and we can get these questions answered. One more thing before I get to the shop, I noticed that YouTube had unsubscribed me to a bunch of channels that I watch normally. Again, I don't know why YouTube keeps doing this, but if you guys were randomly unsubscribed from my channel, just check and hit subscribe again, because YouTube is still doing some sketchy shit and it's really annoying. And if you just haven't subscribed and you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe. It helps me a lot, and we're on the road to 100K, but I am on the way to the shop, and I'll see you when we get there. It feels like I haven't seen this car in months, even though it's been probably 3 weeks. There she is. Let's get some light on this subject. Ooh boy. Things have changed around here a little bit. Couple less cars. Nice, more room. All right, I'm gonna get shit all situated for the Q&A, and then we can dive into all your guys' questions. I got like 200 of them, so I don't know if I'll get to all of them, but I will answer the repeated and most important questions. All right, so I just finished filming I just made it to the bottom of the Instagram post and then realized the camera stopped recording because these cameras have a record limit, so that's awesome. So I'm gonna redo this entire thing, but this time I'm gonna do it a little bit quicker. So when I was talking before this thing stopped recording, I wanna just go over my plans for 2019 and just make that kind of quick. For 2018, I spent most of the time vlogging, which was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot of stuff, and I got to do a lot of cool things with some awesome friends of mine, but I kind of lost the fact that I'm a filmer and spent most of the time vlogging. Sure, like I incorporated some like cool filming and stuff in some of the vlogs, but I didn't do it nearly as much as I wanted to. So for next year, I definitely want to incorporate more cinematic filming into my vlogs and more cinematic videos in general on my channel, whether it's features, car shows, documentaries, all that stuff. But I do want to make a lot more of those because I feel like I slacked on that for 2018, and I know a lot of you guys are here for those videos, and I have not been putting them out as much as I wanted to. So 2019 is going to have a lot more of that, and the first video that I'm going to put out is going to be a full documentary on wrapping the Soarer from start to finish, and I'm super excited for that. The color that I picked is like, it's gonna make this car transform completely. It's like polar opposites of this car, so I'm very excited for that. And it should take a while to film, which kind of sucks, but that's the way these videos are. They take a long time to make, but I'm gonna try and do some vlogs in between while I'm filming that video. So either way, content's coming. It's gonna be really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, I bought all the manual swap parts for the Civic last night, and those will be here early January. And then when we move into the new shop space in Webster, then we can get grinding on the manual swap and get that all said and done. But moving on to the questions. I posted on Instagram last night that I was doing a Q&A, and you guys posted between my YouTube community page and my Instagram post, there's over 200 comments. I'm not gonna read all of them. I'm just gonna read the important ones and the most frequently asked ones, and then we can just go from there. You'll like this one.
Me?
If Professor X can move objects with his mind, why can't he make his legs move?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Do you miss being dumb, low, and static? In terms of like driving low and looking good while you're driving, yes, that was always a cool aspect of mine, but where we live kind of sucks, and you can vouch for me on that. Driving static in Massachusetts is horrible.
Dude, static for life.
Dude.
It is pretty awful.
It's horrible.
There's a lot of holes in the road and bumps and like...
Even the new roads, they don't know how to make a clean road.
They got the little crest, like it's kind of like a nice hill.
Yeah.
The hill in the middle, and then so if you ride in the middle, you just like, you're like, all four wheels are just up in the air.
Yeah, your oil pan is just destroyed.
No.
And everything under your car is
Get
horrible.
that Cayman, you know what I'm saying? You're good, like me.
But no, I really don't miss being static. The Civic is gonna stay static, but it's not gonna be like slammed static. It'll be function, at least for now.
Real quick though, so I got a haircut. My barber told me to leave my beard out a little bit. He said I look like a white Rick Ross. Let me know in the comments.
He's not wrong. I got a haircut yesterday too, because my hair was just like bushy.
I got mine 2 days ago.
Yeah. Any builds performance-wise? Boost. I would like to turbo the Civic. That is in the future for 2019. We are going to manual swap the car. Once that's done, I do want to turbo the Civic, and it should be a fun build. I'm excited for it. Jimmy wants to tune it and all that stuff, so I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Who's your biggest influencer in both the photography and videography world? I had already said this, but Crispy, Halcyon, Mike Koziel, I've met all of them in person. Crispy, I've worked with him personally, which is a really cool thing to me. Seeing that I came from, nothing and started, making these cool videos, and the fact that I was able to work with him is really cool alone. But Chris, Anthony, and Mike Koziel, those are my top 3 influencers in videography and cinematography. Drift the Soarer or nah? Nope, I'm not drifting this car. I have friends that ask me about it all the time, but I'm not about it. I like filming drifting. It's a cool topic to film because it's very action-packed, but me personally, I'm not a drifter. I'm not into that stuff. I just like my cars looking good, riding low, and being quick. So this man's fucking taking Snapchats of me over here. I'm doing my fucking Q&A!
Behind the scenes.
Why are your cars always so clean? I don't know. I mean, the Del Sol, when I bought it, that thing was a rot box, and that's the reason why I rusted the car out, because it was just so far gone. The car was fully spray painted and plasti dipped, and it looked horrible, so I rusted that car out. But even some people said that car looked clean when it was rusty, which I didn't understand, but I was just like, okay. But in terms of why they're clean, I would just say that they have clean bodies. There's no rust on them. The Civic was garaged its whole life, and I'm the second owner of it. I picked it up with 85,000 miles on it, and this thing, it's an import. Japan, they don't use salt, so this thing is immaculate, and had 75,000 miles on it when I bought it. So I guess clean bodies and just the parts that I choose just kind of make them look clean. Are you going to install speakers into the VIP build? Yes. Not entirely sure when. The audio in the car surprisingly isn't too bad right now, but I do want to install speakers, whether they're in the trunk or under the back seats or something. Not entirely sure where I'm going to put them yet, but I do love my bass, and it will have base. Does Rudnick really smell like Cool Ranch Doritos?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Will you ever sell the Civic? If I was to get rid of the Civic, it would be replaced probably with either another big body import or another Honda, but it would be an imported Honda. I'd love to get an SIR Del Sol with a trans top. That's crazy. I'd love to have one of those cars. They're hard to find, but if I can find one for the right price when I'm looking, I would like to pick one of those up because I still miss my Del Sol, but I'm over the whole rusty thing. What happened to the work wheels? So this is a funny story. I was trying to clean them one day and I went to go pick up wheel cleaner and I picked up the wrong bottle and it was acidic and I didn't know that the work wheels were anodized. I thought that they were just regular aluminum that you would just polish. I used the wheel cleaner and it ate the anodized coating off of them and kind of destroyed the wheels. I tried to polish them out and I got most of it out, but there was still a lot of areas that I couldn't fix. So I was just over it and I just sold them and got the gram lights, which the gram lights look awesome, but I wish that I didn't do that so I could still have them, but it's whatever. I would like to get another set in the future, but I don't know. Are you staying static on the Civic or switching over to bags? I'm gonna stay static. I don't see the need to go bags in the Civic. I already have a car that's on bags and it was really expensive to do that. So I'm just gonna leave the Civic on coilovers. It just makes more sense. Who is your favorite YouTuber to collab with? I don't really have a favorite. Obviously I've collabed with Rudnick, Tommy, Jimmy, Adam at this point. Crispy, you know, they're all super awesome dudes, but I don't really have a favorite. I like collabing with them. It's fun to go places and do cool stuff. So I don't really have a favorite. Do you plan on hosting another meet next year? The 25K subscriber meet was fun, but it got out of hand really quickly. Everyone started doing burnouts and was being really obnoxious, and we ended up having the police called on us, and it just got out of hand, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience. So if I was to do another one, it would have to be in a controlled environment with police on site so that no one does any stupid stuff. And if the 25K subscriber meet had 250 cars there, then I have no idea how many cars would be at 100,000 subscriber car meet. So I need a pretty big lot too. But we'll see. Are you going to make Divine window banners? I don't know. That topic has been brought up every now and then. I've had a few people ask me questions about that. It would be cool because my logo is, you know, in like a cool shape and would look cool as a banner. But I don't know if it's worth it. Maybe as my channel grows and I'm bigger and I see more of a reason to do it, then I will. But I'm not like a car club or anything, so I don't really see the need or reason to, you know, make a banner. But we'll see. Have you ever thought of having a drift car on your channel? Not really. Like I said, I'm not really into drifting. It's cool to film and you know, be a part of it with my friends, but I'm not into the whole drifting scene. It's just not for me. Plans for each car, turbo on the Civic. If you had to choose a car for the next build, what would it be? Love the content, Mike. Thank you. This car's twin turboed. The Civic is going to be turboed in the future, I hope. This car, the factory turbos, I'm still not sure if they're going or not. It does burn a little bit of oil, and I've noticed that. I might just need a catch can, but if it is the turbos that's going out on the car, then I'll just do a single turbo build on this car and make it have a little bit more horsepower. But for now, I'm going to continue doing VIP stuff to this car and continue building the Kanjo Civic the way that I want to. Another question I'll answer right now. Someone said Kanjo livery on the Civic. That's a yes. That will be coming soon. I need to find someone that can do big vinyl for the side of the car, and we can come up with something crazy. But I'm gonna save that for when the car is like actually fully Kanjo built. But right now it's just kind of like a Civic on Graham Heights. How much did you end up paying for the Civic's paint job? I paid $900 for their preferred paint, not their basic paint. And we did all the prep work here. It came out really good. The problem with Mako is that it's kind of like a high turnover job where people just get hired and quit really quickly. So one facility might have, you know, a 16-year-old that just got hired and he doesn't know anything and he screws your paint job up. And another facility like the one that I went to could have years and years of experienced workers and they do a really good job, which I was thankful enough to get. So it's kind of a toss-up. You need to find out which Mako is best, I guess. I mean, like I wouldn't do a Mako job on this car. This car would get an actual paint job, even though the Mako job came out good on the Civic. Their paint just doesn't last long, even if it came out good. The properties in the paint just aren't the best, which is why it's so cheap. Will you ever go back to the Meisters? Your car was iconic with those beauties. Thank you. I wish that I didn't screw them up, or else I'd still have them. But with me wanting to go function, those specs on those Meisters would not have fit anyways. They needed to have camber to fit. So if I was to get another set of Meisters, they'd be more of a function setup and be a little bit on the lesser aggressive side, so that they would fit just like the Graham Lights do and just be really aggressive. But for now, I'm going to keep the Graham Lights. They're fine. They make the car look good and tracky and everything. So what wheels are on the Soarer? So I haven't talked about the wheels very much since I've gotten them. I'm losing my voice a little bit. But they are 326 power Yaba King 5 spokes. They're 2-piece welded from Japan. 326 power. They make really, really cool parts, and they are an awesome company. I know Adam has a lot of parts on his cars from 326 power, from suspension all the way down to the lug nuts. So they just make really good stuff, and I'm stoked to have a set of their wheels on this car. I was waiting to get something from them, but I didn't have a car that was worthy of it until I got this car, and I knew immediately what wheels I wanted. Paint or wrap the Soarer? I'm gonna wrap it. It's gonna come out really, really cool. It's gonna transform the car completely. The wrap that I got is like a polar opposite of this car right now. And once it's all one color and finished, it's gonna be absolutely amazing. So like I said, I hope you guys are looking forward to the documentary style video that I'm gonna be making. With this wrap and the whole process and everything, it should be a pretty long video and be really entertaining, and I'm excited to make it because it's just gonna be awesome. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. How was your experience at Adam LZ's open house? It was awesome. I met so many YouTubers that I watch every single day there, and they're all such down-to-earth dudes. It was so much fun. Randy is such a cool dude. TJ is such a cool dude. Dustin is awesome. I would like to go out to the West Coast at some point. I know a couple people asked that question, but I really don't know when I'll be going out there. I know that I talk with Throttle. I talk with Evan all the time. Maybe he'll have a reason for me to come out there and film something, but other than that, I don't really have a reason to go out there. Until I get that reason, I'll be staying on the East Coast. What would be your dream camera setup? That would be a Red Epic with a Movi Pro gimbal. That setup combined is probably around 30 grand, 35 grand. But I have no need for something like that right now, with me just making, you know, fun car videos and YouTube videos. But further down in my film career, I would like to get a setup like that, because it's just, it makes for the best footage, hands down. What color is the Toyota going? It's a secret. You'll find out very soon. What are the specs of the wheels on the Soarer? So the wheels on the Soarer, they are 18 by 10 in the front with a 0 offset, and they are 18 by 11 with a plus 12 offset in the rear, I believe. And I think once the car is fully aired out, it has around -5 camber in the front and -6, which isn't too much in terms of like whole stancy stuff, but it fits this car perfectly. And I'm stoked that I picked the offset out perfect the first time, and they didn't need much adjusting. Dream car, that would be an NSX. 1991, 1992, the early models with the flip up lights. That's my dream car. Dark red, that's the one. Manual swap the Soarer. This is a common question that I get all the time. When you import a car from Japan, especially a car that's really hard to find in manual, it is very, very expensive. This car, when it came imported, it was worth around 10 grand. And if I was to find a manual swapped one, or not a manual swapped one, a manual one, it would be around like 15 to 16 grand for one in the same condition as this, which it just wasn't in my price range. And for the purpose that I have for this car, I didn't need it to be manual. Will I manual swap it in the future? I don't know. With it being a VIP style car, it's just kind of more based around the whole luxury style of things. But if I can find like, you know, a cheap way to do it, maybe, but I doubt it. You know, imports and stuff, they're so expensive. So it's not on my to-do list. It's not on my priority list. How old are you, and when do you start doing automotive media? Also love the builds. I turned 23 on the 16th when I was actually filming Adam's open house video, which was a lot of fun. And when did I start doing automotive media? I guess 2015 is when I like picked up a camera and started doing automotive stuff. It sucked back then, and I'm still not like at a nice caliber that I'd like to be. But 2016 is when I created the whole Divine Media name, and just kind of went from there. So about, I would say, 3 years, 2.5 years. Comfiest ride quality, Soarer or Civic? Soarer, hands down. The air suspension just feels like a pillow. It drives, you know, beautifully. The Civic I bought BC Extreme Lows for. Meant to have those in the car when it was still slammed in stance, but when I bought them, the coilovers didn't fit because we had to cut the front upper control arms and shorten them. And when we did that, the space inside the wishbone was too small for the BC. So I had to raise the car up and go function. But the spring rates on the BCs are super, super high. It's not bouncy, but it's just so stiff that it's not enjoyable. So I do want to fix that in 2019 for sure. How much did your grams cost on the EG? The grams were, I think, 1,000, and the tires were like 300, something like that. So 1,300 total for the gram light setup. Any cool mirrors for your new car? I like the fact that these are power folding. I think that's really cool. But if I was to get another set of mirrors, it would either be Ganadors, which are hard to find in itself, even for an R32, but it's even harder to find them for these cars. There's another style mirror that I'm forgetting about that I might get, but for now, I'm gonna stick with the power folding ones. I think it's kind of cool. Is a Canjo livery in the coupe's future? Yes, and I think I touched on this question already because we were talking about it. I just need to find someone that can do big graphics for the side of the car, but I'm gonna save that for when it's actually like ready to be like Canjo style. Last question on the Instagram poll. What's your favorite Peep song? I don't really have a favorite. I just like him in general. Your favorite dress is a good one. 16 Lines is a good one. The old school and the new school one. Broken Smile, that's a good one. Save That Shit. You Said. It just goes on and on and on. I like him as an artist. All right, I'm gonna switch over to the YouTube community page and go from there and answer the questions that are on there. Will you ever have a luxury sports car on the channel? I don't know. Would you consider going to different states or countries to film different car scenes? That would be really cool. Until then, I don't really have the opportunity to do that, but I do travel across the US pretty often and do some cool stuff, so I'm gonna continue doing that, but I would like to go to Europe and Japan and stuff like that and film that scene. It's just so different and so cool. Do you recommend college for aspiring cinematographers, or would you recommend just learning as you go? I learned as I went. When I first started, you know, I got my editing software, I got my first camera, and I just messed around with it. In high school, I took because I went to a trade high school, so my shop was design and visual, and it was film, photography, graphic design, stuff like that. And when I graduated, I did go to film school for 1 year, but I kind of spent the time learning what I already know. What's a good starter setup to get into photography? I'm a Sony head. I love all the Sony cameras, but in terms of photography, Nikon, they have really nice color. I started with a D3200. I think those cameras are like $300 now. They're super cheap. I wouldn't necessarily say go with that camera, but in terms of photography, I really like the color that Nikon outputs, so I would definitely look into a Nikon DSLR for photography. What is the best and worst thing about being a YouTuber in the car community? I'm just gonna say the best thing first. You get to meet so many awesome people. You get to travel around. You get to do cool things to your car and get paid for it. You know, there can't be anything, you know, better than that. The worst thing is that it's very expensive to continue doing stuff like this, and I know a bunch of YouTubers have talked about this all the time, but I'm not going to get into it very much. In terms of keeping channels like this going with, you know, car content, you know, you make the money and then it's immediately spent the next day, and then you have no money. And it's the way it is, and it kind of sucks. Until your channel grows to a point where you're making a ridiculous amount of money, you know, you're just going to be kind of skating by, which is kind of like what I'm doing right now, which is why my videos aren't put out every day and I don't have parts every single day, but I'm trying my hardest. Should I save up for an SC300, SC400, poor man's Supra? They're really cool cars. This is obviously my first one, and my experience with it has been awesome so far. So if you're into that kind of stuff, I would definitely look into it. It's a cheap car to get, at least if you get a US model, and it's just a fun car to mess around with. I'm very glad that I bought this car and made this decision, because it's been fun, and it's gonna just get more and more fun. How much horsepower does your buddy Evo have? You're talking about Steven. I think he's building it right now. He's trying to go for 450, I believe, 450, 500, something around there. But he works every single day and just cranks his money into his cars. So it takes a while for him to do his builds, but it's getting there. All right, I'm gonna end this with 2 funny questions. Does Bruno Mars is gay? I expect an answer, and that's a big yes. Fuck, marry, kill Steven, Pierce, and Brett. That's a good question. I would say in that order. I'd say in that order.
Fuck Brett.
Why are you so damn cute, Chet? Thank you. You guys know Chet from the H2O video. He has the HKS livery GTR. Thing's super sick. Thank you, Chet. I don't know why I'm cute, but thank you. If you care for chicken, does that make you a chicken tender? Fuck you, Brett. What car do you enjoy the most and why? I would say this one. I keep going back to this one, but the Civic, where it is right now, you know, it's still stock. So until then, it's not going to be very enjoyable. But once we start doing some more performance stuff to it, it should get more fun, and I'm looking forward to that. But this car for sure is my favorite out of all 4 cars that I've owned. So yeah, this car for sure. Will you ever go back to having the coupe Stancy boy? I don't know if I can find the right setup, but I want to, like, you know, get the whole Kanjo look done and see, you know, how that looks. I'm excited for that. But maybe after that, if I still want to do things to the car, I can, you know, convert it back to being obnoxiously stanced and stuff, or I'll just get rid of it and get a Del Sol again. I don't know. All right, so I probably answered, you know, 50 or so questions out of the 200. Most of them were just repeats, and some of them were just, you know, silly, but that was the Q&A. Thank you guys for all the questions that you gave me. It's cool to know that so many of you guys are interested in what I'm doing, and I really appreciate it. But yeah, that is the Q&A, and I'm excited for 2019. It's gonna be a great year. In terms of my filming, I'm just gonna, you know, keep cranking out videos, and they're gonna be a lot better quality than this year's videos. You know, ever since I've been making these vlogs, you know, I've had such good gear just sitting at my house not getting used, and next year I want to change that. I want to bring my gimbal with me, I want to bring my drone, I want to do all that stuff and just kind of incorporate them into the vlogs better, because it's just going to make for an overall better video. But yeah, that is, I've been talking, but that is the Q&A video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was just me rambling on and talking, but I feel like it had to get made. I haven't made one since February. And a lot of good topics were brought up, and a lot of good things were talked about. So I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And there will be a lot of cool content coming very, very soon. And I apologize if there was any extra noise in here while this was going down, but I have the garage door open so I can get some lighting, and the painter's tape in here has been blowing around all day. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe as usual, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.